Good, I'm zooming in now. My side's way messier. I'm trying to do what you're always teaching me to. Oh, Brian, you gotta wait for everybody to get here.
You do got to do that. You haven't seen the influencers that do that? Are you really
I'm
an
taking
influencer?
care of my kids. I'm making dinner, grocery shopping. What are you doing?
You're not an influencer. Wow.
No, I'm not.
He's about to be
In fact, people would prefer to reject my influence and embrace yours. No matter what you say.
Yeah. Did you see somebody yesterday was like...
I will do whatever Jannelle says.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. My
Yeah,
team is smart.
You started a cult. It's pretty disturbing.
So companionate love. You shared your dysfunction in terms of dating. Can you share the story? Falling in love is exhilarating, right? And you were so brave and courageous when you asked Sarah out for the first time. He has lessons for you if you still need a woman. Go ahead. Well, how'd you handle it?
So, okay, let me explain it to you. You're Sarah, okay, and I'm me. We're outside. There's lawnmowers going and stuff. You're super cute. It's beautiful, and I'm me. So I like kind of.
Oh my gosh.
So. You know that guy, Dan, what we both know? Remember that guy? Well, he and his girlfriend and we're going to go get some, pizza.
Oh, my gosh.
And, hang out. And you can come with if you want.
What? What's up, Callie? Wow. And so looking back, what did she say stood out to her? Why did she say yes?
Her response was that she had went home and she said yes. She goes sure. And she went home and was like, did he ask me out?
Wow.
I'm not really sure. So she said, I decided that you did and treated it like a date. She got all ready to go. She had this white dress she put on.
It was tight.
Yes. In every sense of... Oh, Lord. I made her keep it just so we have it.
Wow. Did she know you before?
She tried to set me up with a friend of hers, actually. That didn't work out.
So she knew what she was saying yes to. I'm asking that because if a guy came like that and was all scared, I'd be like, really, dude? You got to come with better game than that.
There were a bunch of guys that were trying to ask her out. There were a bunch of guys. No, we had met that summer at that job. So she knew me from work.
Oh, okay.
There was another dude who had here's the other move I had. So her car, she drove an 80-something Bonneville. Fuzzy dice, mud flaps, windows down. She's blasting Tupac, stuff like that. And she'd always be like, it's my brother's car. But she loved it. But it broke down all the time. So one day after work, her car was broken down. I walk up, I'm like, you all right? Everything okay over here? She's like, my car is broken down. But my dad's on his way to help. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm thinking to myself, I can hardly put gas in this thing.
Yeah, hello, thank you.
What am I going to do? Her dad's on his way. She's good to go. So I said, all right, cool. See you tomorrow.
Wow,
and I left
her.
And some other dude came out. His name is Jason. And he was this big, tough dude, rugged, huge muscles. And he's like, hey, you all right? You need some help? She's like, yeah, my dad's coming. It's fine. He's like, here, I'll wait with you.
Wow.
And he stuck around and waited with her. Yeah. And then there's this, there was another dude who hardly talked to me for a week after she said yes to going out with me because he liked her so much.
Oh, you don't feel bad?
Not at all.
That's hilarious. Miss Anita, what's up? Eva, Miss Theola. Mike says, some may call marriage boring, meaning status quo day to day, but it's a big thing to have companionate love, as you've said. I don't think I ever had that, so that would be a new thing to me. I look forward to if the Lord wills. It is, I think, something that it...
A little belly going here?
Let us see your belly. Well, you should see what he be eating. What did you have for breakfast today?
Oh, 3 cinnamon rolls.
Oh my God.
I think I got a little belly going. Do I?
Wow. Are you excited?
I don't know.
Is that a good thing? Oh my gosh.
Do I? Have you noticed this before?
No. You do have a little belly. Look, Kelly.
No, I'm gonna go like this. I just gotta go like that.
You don't got to do that.
I'll do that.
Guys don't got to
Let's
do
go.
that.
I know. Women do.
I gotta get some Spanx. You know what that is?
What? Oh, yes.
Not that you would know. You've heard of it.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not implying anything at all.
I know.
I don't care. I got a man. That's what I tell people. I got a man, so I don't care.
I don't need no Spanx.
Thank you.
See that shit that I'm like. I'm
Sarah's laughing at you. Tiffany, what's up? Eva, what's up? So the companionate love eludes many of us. And I think we don't know how to create that. We think it's like something. First of all, the term is like something. I've never heard that. But what it means, we think it's something that naturally goes away. Have you ever felt that? Or
What goes away?
Companionate love. Like, it's almost like you feel like with time.
Well, should we define it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So there was this article we found, the type of love that makes people happiest. And it talks about how falling in love is exhilarating. But ultimately, happy people can't survive on exhilarating because exhilarating doesn't last.
Yeah, it does not.
What's interesting is that a Harvard study since the 1930s has shown that the big factor that predicts late life happiness, big factor, it's not about smoking or drinking or smoking or chewing or going with girls that do or whatever it is, smoke or chew.
I've heard that. One of my mentors used to say that all the time.
What is it? It is long romantic partnership, stable relationships, essentially. The healthiest participants at age 80 tend to have been most satisfied in their relationships at age 50. In other words, the secret to happiness isn't falling in love, it's staying in love. And this doesn't even mean sticking together legally. Christians, hear this, because a lot of Christians think that even if their marriage is unhappy, they don't have to do anything about it because they have to stay married.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay? Only 2%. Research showed that being married, in and of itself, being married, only accounts for 2% of subjective well-being later in life. Just being married has little to no effect on your well-being later in life. What does? It depends on what psychologists call companionate love, which is just as boring as it sounds. It is based less on passionate highs and lows and more on stable affection, mutual understanding, and commitment. You got those three things: stable affection, mutual understanding, commitment. That can be the key to lifelong happiness. So that means Len can walk up to Jannelle and be like, girl, you know what we got? Girl, we got stable affection. Right?
It sounds so romantic.
It sounds so
He
boring.
got this thing, oh my goodness, where like, I've learned now, but when I've mentioned about, oh baby, like it's not, we're in a season where, you know, we're not being passionate in terms of like romantic and exciting or whatever. And he tells me, which sounds boring, but now I know better. He's like, man, we in this for the long run. He's like, this is a marathon. You cannot expect to be up here all the time. And I always thought that's so boring. Like, that's so practical and so like, yo, we're here, just chill. Like, sometimes it'll be exciting, sometimes it'll be boring.
But wait a minute, though. Okay. This is very unromantic, and young people won't believe us. They think, is this an old people problem, or a boomer problem, or an Xer problem?
Whatever.
You're like, sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's boring. That sounds like you got a 50-50 there. Like, half the time it's exciting, half the time it's boring. How often do you think?
No, usually it's in the middle. Right? Like in the middle.
Okay. How often is your marriage to Len and your relationship with him exciting?
It's like few and far between. I mean, if I'm gonna keep it real.
And I'm laughing, but like, to think of the word exciting. Like, when's the last time you and Len were like, yes, it's Len!
Well, no, okay,
we're having
not
so much fun, I
exciting.
can't believe it. No, it happened once a month, maybe?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a downer, because you had a good day with Len yesterday.
Yeah. But
Tell
it
us
wasn't
about your day
exciting.
with Len.
Okay, so he had to go fix one of our properties, so he was working and gone all evening.
Okay.
And I'm in the kitchen doing my thing.
Which
and
means
so,
telling other people what to make.
No, I was making his meals for the next day and for that night. Thank you. And so while I'm working and dealing with the kids, we're on the phone. connecting. But
But
it's
what do you
like
mean connecting?
exactly. It's like, oh, okay, so how was your day? And then he's like, so what did he does this all the time. What did y'all talk about yesterday? And today. Or we talked about the kids, but I was gonna say one thing he likes to do. What did y'all talk about? And I don't like going there because I'll give him the topics and then he'll start reacting. And I'm like, we already had the show. He'll be like, no, because what you need to do, did you tell Brian? Like he likes, and I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, that's really what it is.
And then you hung up, said love you,
and
bye.
that was it. I didn't even see him before I went to sleep.
No, is that a maybe typical day?
Yeah.
Maybe atypical in that you probably see him at bedtime usually.
Yeah. But typical in the sense of he's doing his thing, working.
But usually he kind of stares you in the eyes and is like, Jannelle, you're beautiful, I love you. And then dips you down and gives you a passionate kiss.
That's not what I'm thinking when I say like exciting. And maybe that's a little extreme. But the whole thing of like, I'm like, yo, you would think that we'd have the whole like kisses all the time or laughing together at different jokes, you know? And I've even compared us in the past, before we got into the book, to friends. And I'm like, yo, when I talk to Marceja or Devana, my friend, we like having fun. And he always says, don't compare us to friends. We're not, like, it's a different dynamic. You see what I'm saying? So he's just like, it's not realistic for us to think it's just going to be party time or hangout time every time we're together. Sometimes it's like, you say, what's up? You say, you eat dinner and things are just, it feels boring and it feels unromantic. And
Yeah, because friendship isn't romantic either.
well, yeah, it's not.
And so, like it says here, being rooted in friendship is the reason that companionate love creates true happiness. But friendships aren't always exciting either. And I think what you're trying to say is like, it is different from friendship.
Yeah.
And yet friendship is part of companionate love.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you do enjoy being around them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like super, like
Boring.
most days, it's boring.
Yeah. You remember that part of the book where Dr. Gottman, I shared the link, Richard, I have it. That's the book we were talking about.
Can you get out of that reply so we can see other people?
What
are
is
you
wrong?
doing?
The conversation is actually good. Laura from Ravenna here. Enjoyed listening. What's up, Laura?
Hey, what's up, Laura? Good to have you
Eva
here.
says it could be better than stable affection, but there are so many people who don't even have that.
I think that what's more common in Christian marriage is unhappily married.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't had any offenses in your marriage that would allow you to get divorced, and you just haven't worked on your marriage, and so you would coexist. But remember, well-being in life, only 2% of it is impacted by just legally being married. So I think you have a lot of Christians who aren't doing the work, who either have a misconception about what true love looks like, or they give up when things get hard.
Or don't know how do you cultivate companionate love. Because I told you when I saw it in the book with Dr. Gottman, I missed it. It's so simple that I missed it. And I have a friend who actually has that in her marriage. And when I saw it in real life, I'm like, yo, we talked about bids. And I'm like, that got nothing to do with, oh, let's go on a date.
Yeah, Dr.
And-
Gottman talks about that it's the little boring things in your marriage that impact its well-being. That it's how you respond to bids from your spouse. It could be as simple as Jannelle and Len sitting. Jannelle's looking out the window and she goes, "Hey, Len, look at that car out there. That looks just like one of your cars you had growing up when we started dating." And if he's like looking at his phone, he goes, "Yeah,
Yes.
cool." He's not responding to the bid.
Yes.
But even if he stops and just goes, "Oh yeah, look at that. You remember that car?"
Yes.
We love
It's
that car.
so
But just that, and then it's over. "I love that car. Did you?" Yeah.
Yes.
Back at it. Or it's responding to a negative bid, where Len is like walking around frustrated because there's too much laundry to fold. "I'm so sick of folding all this laundry." And Jannelle goes, "Baby, let's do it together.
Yeah.
Let me help you."
And I like that you brought that up because it's not just attention or bids of quality time. It could be he's fixing the car and says, "Hey, can you help me get my the parts or a drill or whatever?" Answering to the bid in the sense of like, "Oh, I got you." You know, and I'm saying I think a lot I missed it. And Dr. Gottman says there's bids all day long. And every time you respond to a bid, your relationship grows in trust and it grows in intimacy. He said people go all the way to the Caribbean, pay all kinds of money to like spark their marriage. And he's like, and really that's where it is. That's how you like spark the passion in your marriage. Isn't that weird? Because I'm like, yo, that got nothing to do with passion and romance.
It's you sitting and listening with affection and care to your spouse's rant about their boss.
Yes, without saying, because I used to say it. So messed up. I'm going to be, don't talk about
What did
me.
you say?
I would say something that Dr. Gottman says, don't do this. I would be the wife that'd be like, well, I've been telling you about, you know.
Yeah, maybe
Or-
you shouldn't talk like that to your boss.
Yes.
Where no, you got to
Yes.
take their side. You got to love them and show
Yes, and
support.
say, man, I can see why you see things that way. Dude, like, I'm just getting passionate about it because I'm like, I think what Dr. Gottman says, there's bids every day, and we see it but don't know it. So I don't think it's people get tired or don't want to work on their marriage. I think, honestly, a lot of us don't know or don't realize what we're not doing. Because we're seeking this, like, romance. So we think it's in the dates or we think it's in the intimacy even. Maybe the guys think it's like, oh, none of that's happening. And it's more mundane than that. I don't know.
And it's also when you reach challenging phases, it's fighting through them.
Yes. Yeah.
Not like
Yes.
physically or verbally fighting through them, but sticking with the person when things get real hard and working together in the midst of it
I
and
like
owning
that.
your junk
I like
and
that.
forgiving them. And it's that'll help you break down some of the walls to intimacy.
Callie says, what's up, Callie on YouTube? She says, my husband wishes we could go back to how things were before having kids. More spice, more exciting times, and so on. Honestly, I don't know how to turn off my mom mind. What are your thoughts as a husband?
Well, I think there's stuff for both of them. Like, he's got to stop longing for that because he's never going to get it. The kids are always there. Even when he's an empty nester, the kids will be part of his life. And so longing for what used to be isn't going to be helpful today. But that's a bid.
Yeah, that is a bid.
Callie, what he's doing is he's bidding for your romantic attention. To look at him like you used to do all that. And so I don't think it's necessarily he wishes he didn't have kids, but it's more, how do you cultivate, at least sometimes, little moments like that remind him of those days. Right? Am I thinking this right? I'm thinking out loud.
It is a bid. I like that you're being realistic. You can't do it like it was before kids. But I think as moms, we can take on the challenge of trying to turn off the mom mind. So an example, they don't need you all the time. We got to learn to tell our kids no, or get out the room, or this is mommy and papi time. Like my kids, even if it's like we're watching our favorite series together and they just walk in and want to get my attention and talk. You know, it means a lot to Len. He hasn't said this out loud, but I know it does based on conversations we've had. When I tell them, I'm spending time with your dad. Whatever you got can wait. Get out. That kind of thing. If you got little ones, it's, you know, figuring out, can they have more structured nap times, or, you know, just figure wherever it is in your season. We do communicate to our spouse. Are they our priority? And there are ways to not make your kid, even if they're young, a priority. Am I being realistic? I don't want to put unrealistic. I just think there's ways to do it. And as moms, we forget. And our kids become like this big thing.
Yeah.
Eva says, hey, a babysitter sometimes.
Get a babysitter is what you
Get
need.
a baby. Yes, I like that. And have those nights together. Yeah, that's another thing. Some moms are like, well, I don't like leaving the baby with, you know, leave them. They're going to survive. Callie says, thank you for the marriage counseling. Oh, marriage counseling has been a lifesaver.
Yeah, marriage counseling is really important.
Yeah. Hold on. There should be an attraction throughout also, but attraction changes from physical at the beginning.
I'll tell you what, Sarah and Len aren't going to have a problem with that.
Sarah and Len?
They're not going to have a problem with it.
No, they won't.
We're still looking good.
That's right. They got a long way to go till that goes away. He knows. Let me give myself the bell.
Do you want to know what Jannelle and I looked like when we were like in our early 20s?
Just like this right here. Yeah.
Like that.
Woo.
That's how we
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Eva says, see, you have to create those times. Steve loves to cook, and I love to come in the kitchen, interrupt his cooking, stand on his feet and dance, or maybe just hug him and sing to him. Eva, you remind me of another thing. With reading, I know I bring up his book a lot, but it's amazing. A lot of times for years, would get frustrated because we didn't have time for dating, or I wanted to increase the dating time. And he was saying, like, we miss it. Me saying, oh, if Len's folding clothes, I can go fold with him. Or if I'm cooking, he can go in the kitchen and kind of join me. Like, there's time there that we miss, and we're so focused on the more structured events that you miss the daily doing life together. That could count just as well. Kind of like Eva with you with the cooking. Sean says, good morning. Love this topic. At 37 years of marriage, my favorite companion is still my husband. Good thing since we're empty nesters and family is all out of town. Then when we have a family gathering, I see him as their wonderful father, and I fall even more romantically in love with the humble and gentle man I spend so much time with.
Aw. You see Rebecca's comment?
One of my late husband's sisters once told me I was boring. I now see that it was really a compliment.
Maybe.
Yes, Eva, you can make daily life fun. I like that. Sharon says, have a date night at least once a month. Agree not to discuss kids.
That's
Someday
hard.
your children will leave your home. Cultivate your marriage now.
Super important, Sharon. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the first time you go, all right, we're going to go out to dinner, and we're not going to talk about the kids. You get to dinner and you go, hey.
Yeah.
So did you hear? Oh, wait. No, can't talk about the kids.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to order?
Yeah, I know that's right. Isn't it? That's crazy, especially in the beginning. Rob feels sorry about the negative emails we get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, my lot in life is being intensely disliked by a large group of people. And Jannelle has people that do whatever she says no matter what, and love her no matter what happens.
Love you, Team Jannelle. Woohoo! We can get together, y'all.
The best part is today, I hadn't given a position at all on a particular topic, and all the mad people directed their text messages to me.
They sure did.
She gave an opinion. Ron gave an opinion. I'm just telling the story there. Brian. Then they're like yelling at me. This is what people do. I am a human punching bag, Rob.
Oh, wow.
It's a good thing I'm so tough with this little belly I got going now, too.
Oh, my goodness. Rebecca, can you please? She said, Brian, you may be right. She probably really meant it. Brian, she probably isn't really boring.
Boring is subjective.
Why do you say that?
Extroverts love to tell introverts they're boring, but we all know the real boring people are extroverts.
I ain't boring, so I don't know what you're talking about. Judy, don't know what he's saying. Judy says, my husband sending texts back and forth with another woman. Seems like he and she have no boundaries.
You got to talk to your husband about that, Judy.
Yeah.
You got to talk to your husband about that. And if he doesn't respond, you need to go to marriage counseling.
Yeah.
And if he won't do that, you go to counseling. Okay, we got to go. Why are you making me work so hard?
Oh my gosh, please. Hold on. Brian already getting emails about some topic he covered, so we'll
You
talk
probably
to
said
y'all.
it. Janelle said it, but Brian made it.
Love you, Judy. Everybody, a lot of people love the topic. I'm an introvert who can be interesting if you care to try and understand and know me.
That's right, Rebecca. See, I was right. Introverts, interesting. Extroverts, not interesting. Actually, very boring.
Patricia says, Brian, we know you are strong. That's what it is. You
Do
can
we?
handle it.
Do
You
we know
strong.
that? Do we? I don't think we know that.